What is up? Welcome back. Welcome to Prime Time, and back to another episode of Sinister's Horror Stash. We got a good one coming up for you guys today. But as always, I'm joined by my man Hunter, the main guy, the head of Welcome to Prime Time. What's up, man?
What's up, Alec? How's it going, brother?
It's going pretty good, man. I'm excited to get into this movie that we had today that we picked for tonight. Have a blast talking about some horror. This is a first time watch for me, so this is gonna be fun.
Which is awesome. So this is 1998, The Faculty, another one of those kind of Scream-esque horror movies because this was written by Kevin Williamson, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Kind of a science fiction horror movie. This is The Faculty, directed by Robert Rodriguez with a screenplay by Kevin Williamson. The cast is absolutely stacked. You got Jordana Brewster, who, if you guys don't know who that is, she was in the Fast and the Furious franchise. Clea Duvall, Laura Harris, Josh Hartnett, I believe before or right after Halloween H2O.
Oh, nice.
You've got from Mike Jensen, who is she was in the X-Men franchise as Jean Grey in the original X-Men franchise. Piper Laurie, who was Carrie's mother in the original Carrie movie. Robert Patrick, the T-1000. Freaking young Usher is in this movie.
Yes, very, very briefly. He doesn't really do much, but he's in there.
Yep. Jon Stewart as the teacher, and a baby pre-Frodo, Elijah Wood. So this is a fucking stacked cast.
Yeah, this is a good. It is like a who's who of people who really didn't get their fame until later. Like didn't really have their big breakout film until later. Like Elijah Wood, Lord of the Rings hadn't come out yet. Jordana Brewster, Fast and Furious hadn't come out yet. But it's one of those. It's a lot of familiar faces, so it felt like it's very easy, palatable to watch. Whereas other movies where it might be a little bit harder to get into. Like you really got to work harder with the script and with the acting. But this one, you're like, I know all these people. It's familiar. I know what I'm getting. I'm not expecting like this tour de force of acting, but I'm looking to have some fun, and that's exactly what this movie is. This movie is a lot of fun. I enjoy this movie a lot. We can go ahead and get our first thoughts about it. I enjoy this movie a lot. I love me a good I love creature features. I like a monster, and the effects obviously are the 90s, what they are for the 90s, but I didn't take me out of the movie at all. The effects are pretty good. I liked all the actors. There's not really any characters that I dislike in the movie.
That's fair.
Everyone, obviously, Jordana Brewster's character, Delilah, she's kind of a bitch, but that's she's playing the mean girl type, which is weird because she's a journalist, so it's I guess that's the popular girl. But yeah, she's playing this dislikable character, but you can clearly see that her and Elijah Wood's character have chemistry, so you kind of like their little back and forth. So that's a cool little story thing that helped the character, and all the other characters. They kind of it's your stereotypical, right? Stereotypical characters that you have. You have your jock. You have your jock with
drug dealer
who's tired of being looked at as a jock. You have the
drug dealer played by Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, drug dealer Josh Hartnett, who apparently makes his own drug. He's just these kids are so desperate to get high that they're just taking this thing that this guy makes in his garage, which will come back later. And you have the loner who is in love with the popular kid. It's very stereotypical, but because of the performances and because of the actors that we recognize, it's really palatable and really easy to just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Let it take you on the crazy ride it takes you on.
Yeah, so the great thing about this movie is that you have such a young cast and some inexperienced cast, like Elijah Wood didn't do a lot before this. Jordana Brewster didn't really do a lot before this, but it's not solely focused on their performances as much as it's being supported by other legends like a Robert Patrick, a Piper Laurie, a Jon Stewart. You have these established actors that really can feed off of these kind of young talent and kind of work them through, these scenes. I think the practical effects look really good.
Yes.
Especially when, like, the opening scene, I think is incredible with Robert Patrick being taken over, and he goes on the football field, and you just kind of see this whole kind of football army, and these little tentacles are popping out. That looks really
popping out of his face.
Yeah. This movie is amazing. I think this might be, like, for the 90s slasher / 90s kind of horror, I'd put this probably third. I go Scream, Urban Legend, then The Faculty.
The legitimate moments of fear and paranoia and isolation that I got from the scene where Casey and Delilah are trying to exit the school after having witnessed Robert Patrick and who played the older woman? I'm sorry,
Piper Laurie.
Piper Laurie, yeah, she they kill Salma Hayek and they witness the whole thing and are able to escape. They're trying to get out, and there are like those real moments of like fear because you literally don't know who is in on it. And then I think it's the next day when they go to the school and it's basically completely overtaken. There's not anyone that except our main characters, except our actors that are recognizable. They're the lucky few that don't get taken over. But man, you want to go ahead and start jumping into? Oh, we're talking about Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek just completely brushed over the fact that she's in the movie, and she known that after seeing what Robert Rodriguez was directing.
Yeah, because she was in From Dusk Till Dawn, which was 96. Again, a Rodriguez film.
I love that movie so much.
That movie is so good. We have to review that movie one day.
Yeah, I believe we did it for Sinister's movie night, but we got to do it.
I believe we did actually.
We definitely got to do it for this show. All right, let's go ahead and get into the story of the movie. We start with The Kids Aren't All Right by The Offspring. Great song. I'm pretty sure I said that out loud whenever I was watching the movie.
Yeah.
Great song.
great song choice.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I like this. It's a football practice that's going on. Robert Patrick, Coach Willis, is running practice, yelling, screaming, calling everybody names. Typical, stereotypical coach stuff.
Jog dad.
They're all walking off, kind of mad. He's kicking around, throwing a fit, and then he starts picking
all the geyser scenes are hilarious.
Yeah, and then
he's stomping on him.
Yeah, and he's bending over, picking everything up, and then you just see a shadow walking up to him, and I'm wondering. It feels like there was a line there originally. Because it completely the sound cuts out and he's sitting there for good solid 10 seconds, and then goes, "Yeah, what?" And it's like, was there a question that was cut out, or was there something in the script that was cut out? But
I think they kept it there for dramatic effect. I think he just turned around, saw the figure, and was like, "Yeah, what?"
Yeah, it was one of those things.
What are you asking?
One of those things where I was thinking, I was like, could have cut that by 5 seconds. That was a very long pause. But
I do love that we don't see how he got.
It literally just cuts. I think is basically what happens. It cuts, and it cuts to the end of the night. Everyone's leaving the school. We get introduced to Professor Drake, played by, you have that on your end, Professor Drake, or Principal Drake. Sorry,
Principal Drake is B.B. Newirth.
B.B. Newirth. She was so familiar. I don't know where she's from.
She is from the Cheers of hers. From Cheers, I believe.
Okay, see, I've seen her face somewhere, but she's very recognizable. She's leaving, and Coach Willis walks in, is drinking a lot of water, right? And then
gotta stay hydrated.
Everybody leaves. Drake has to go back to go get her keys, and that's when Coach Willis kind of goes into creepy mode and attacks her. and stabs her with the scissors. Oh no, with a pencil. He stabs her with a pencil right through the hand. Great practical effects.
But he also stabs her with scissors as he flees to school.
And then that's how he kills her. But originally, first he stabs her in the hand. She fights. She tries to fight back as best she can. But yeah, he ends up getting the scissors and just completely kills her. Well, he stabs her, and then she flees to school. And so we don't see what happens to her. It cuts to the morning the next day. Now we get introduced to all our characters. We see Elijah Woods, Casey, being bullied, showing that he is he doesn't stand up for himself. He's not tough. He's the loser that gets bullied. We see Jordana Brewster's Delilah, who is popular, apparently does something with the paper, and works with Casey, but is not very nice to Casey.
Yeah, because Casey is the dork.
Yeah, Delilah is dating Stan, who is the football guy, the quarterback that we see leaving the practice very mad, very upset. He's dating Delilah, and then we see Stokely, I believe is her name. Stokely played by
Stokely Mitchell, played by Clea Duvall.
Clea Duvall, yes. The countless projects she's been in. She's in so many things. Like, I think the one that popped to mind just because it's the most recent was New Girl. She's in New Girl for.
She was also in Handmaid's Tale.
Okay, so I don't think I've seen that. I have to watch that show. But yeah, and then we see Zeke, played by Josh Hartnett. He is a drug dealer that.
By the way, that dude is killing it lately. From being in one of the biggest films of last year, Oppenheimer, to now being in a new M. Night Shyamalan film in Trap.
Yeah, and now let's get into Josh Hartnett love fest, because I love Josh Hartnett. Like, the fact that
he's awesome.
Like, I love that. I love everything he was in. I even like Lucky Number 11. But my favorite movie.
I've never seen that. I don't think.
My favorite movie, obviously, is 30 Days of Night. Like, from him, that's
a good one. Mine is Halloween H2O. I just think he's awesome in that movie.
And then I guess he kind of disappeared, went away, but now he's been like in Oppenheimer. He's about to be in was it Trap? Is that
Trap?
Trap, which I'm excited to see.
That trailer was insane.
I hope I'm wrong about the twist, because I don't want to guess the twist. But I'm on the daughter's the killer. The daughter's
the 15-year-old.
Yeah, that's just what I'm going for. I want to see it. But I say I don't want to see it because I don't want to guess it. But I don't think I'm anywhere near it. Like, honestly, Shyamalan has kind of had his little kind of renaissance happen. I think he started with Split, and then we got Glass. And even though like Glass was kind of like okay, like
you actually reviewed Glass for.
That's right, we did. And like, it's cool, it's fun, but or it's one of those things where like it really did kind of hit or miss with people. Yeah. But I feel like he's cleared his name enough now because of the Visit, because of.
To be fair, you did have what was it, Old in there, which some people like, some people don't. That was a very divisive film.
I think I skipped on that one.
Same with Cabin in the Woods, or not Cabin in the Woods.
Knocking the Cabin.
Knocking the Cabin.
I
actually like it myself, but that's mostly because of Batista's performance. I think he's awesome in that. But back to Josh Hartnett, the dude is killing it. He's really funny in this movie. Seeing him as this kind of loner, kind of or stoner, like drug dealer who's kind of actually really intelligent, but just doesn't try.
Yeah, but I think we even get like a thing that we get a little bit that he should have graduated last year, but he didn't pass. Yeah, he says something about like he knows everything, and someone was like, "Well, then why didn't you graduate last year?" So he's not really trying hard. He just kind of is skating by. He enjoys selling drugs and making drugs to sell to his fellow high schoolers, and then we also see Mary Beth, I think her name is. She is the new girl from Atlanta. So southern accent and all. Or Mary Beth Louise Hutchinson, that's her name. And we're just kind of getting a glimpse of everybody as we go into the school. So you see, we get introduced to Casey's relationship with Delilah, which he's her assistant. She is the editor in chief of the paper, and that's how she is. She's also the head cheerleader because she has all the time in the world. And we get a little scene with her and Stan, and Stan's like telling her like, I don't really want to be. I'm gonna quit the football team. I'm not happy, and she just kind of like, this is where like you're like, man, this is what a B word.
She just doesn't care.
Well, yeah, like she's like, I'm the head cheerleader. You're supposed to be the quarterback. This is how this works. And basically, if that's not how that's working, then there's no reason to be together. Which is like, yeah, you suck. He was really trying to be like open and honest. I felt that. I felt that
you suck.
Man. He was being open with you, and you just completely shut him down. That was messed up.
Yeah.
And then we see that
we also see that
she's also an asshole to Stokely.
Yeah. We also have a scene where Zeke is implied and also very much stated, I believe, that he has slept with his teacher, played by Fermin Jackson. Yep.
Yeah, they have a very weird chemistry. He
literally tries to sell her pads out of his car.
Like, man. Problematic relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also selling this drug he's selling. I forgot what he called it. It's not on the Wikipedia, but I forgot what he called it. But it's like I guess it's like an ecstasy. It's a powder, and he keeps it in these ballpoint pens. He sells them in ballpoint pens, and I'm pretty sure I've seen like things like this when I was in high school.
Oh yeah.
So, like, okay, that made sense. And Mary Beth Louise Hutchinson, she introduces herself to Stokely, who Stokely's kind of like standoffish, but when she kind of realizes that this girl's actually like genuinely like wants to talk to her and is like sees her, I guess, and, like she kind of like lets her in, which is like I guess like not that uncommon, where you have like the dark personality with the super person. But Delilah comes up and is like a total bitch to Stokely, and Mary Beth is like, no, like you kind of suck, and I like that about it. I like that thing they did. So after we see that, and we also see that Stokely has like kind of has a thing for Stan, and Mary Beth sees Zeke, so you're like, okay, there's our love interest dynamics that are going on, Stokely and Stan. Which Stan, get out of that relationship that you're in, Jesus. And
leave.
Beth and Zeke. And then we go on, and Casey finds this creature. On the football field, and he brings it to Mr. Furlong, played by Mr.
John Stewart.
Young John Stewart here. And he takes it to him, and they see that he believes Mr. Furlong believes it's a new species of cephalopod-specific parasite called a mesozoan. And then Delilah and Casey, having seen this, they're like, "Oh, we gotta get a story." So they decide to hide in the faculty lounge, in the teachers' lounge, and that's when Coach Willis and Miss Olson take out Mrs. Brummel, which is the older. Oh no, sorry. We missed the part with Mrs. Brummel. Mrs. Brummel was kind of came up out of nowhere to attack Zeke and Casey. And Casey saw this and ran and took off. And then she ends up dead. They find her body in the closet that she's in, and gives away their position completely while they're taking out the school nurse. What's her name? It's Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek's character, but I forgot the name of the character. But she's the school nurse.
Nurse Harper.
Nurse Harper, yes. They're playing Nurse Harper. They shoot her. They stab her in the head. She's basically dead.
Yeah.
And, but they're able to cut off something of. They're able to get away. I don't think this is when they cut off, and this is later. But they were able to get away from Robert Patrick. They run and get out, and they go to the police, and the police completely, which for obvious reasons, don't believe them.
That's fair.
Yeah, they don't believe them. But we get this cool scene with Principal Drake where she's talking to the police officer in another room for like not even a minute. And they come out, and you can just clearly see that the cop has been taken over. And Casey notices it, and is very smart to make sure that he keeps his parents away from them, because obviously you get the hint that they're transferring something into these other people in order to take over their bodies, and they're not trying to draw attention, so they're not doing it in front of everybody.
Yeah, so I would
a couple seconds.
Yeah, I would say this movie is almost like the 90s version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Which comes up later.
Yep, because you actually get a lot of the tropes of that, but you also, what's really cool is seeing the transformation, especially of like Robert Patrick. He starts off the movie like this kind of, fiery asshole who's going to scream and yell when he doesn't get his way. But when he's possessed, he's kind of like the T-1000. He turns into this kind of stone cold killer that doesn't yell or scream. He just kind of walks really, really slow at you and just has no emotion. Like everyone who's possessed has no emotion, which I love that to kind of tell the dichotomy of like from pre-possessed to possessed.
Yeah, and also when he runs, all I saw was the T-1000.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, that's the T-1000 all day.
Yep.
But so we go to the next day, and this is the scene that like when they go back to the school, like I was freaked out. I was watching on my phone, laying in bed, and in the dark, so it was completely dark in the room. And I just started feeling that I was like, I'm getting a little freaked out right now. This is because they got everybody looking at them, and they're also doing like ear exams. And, they're doing ear exams, and this is how they're getting all the students to become part of this aliens. These aliens like under control, and they're able to tell Zeke. Delilah tells Casey that they should tell Stan and Stokely. They do, and they don't really believe them. Obviously, they don't believe them at first until what is it? How is it? Until Miss Furlong. They go to the they want to go see the alien thing, the parasite. They want to see the parasite, and it's gone. The parasite's completely gone.
Yep.
And they're trying to figure out what it is, and they're like, "We got to go." And Mr. Furlong finds out that he is obviously also an alien, and he attacks them. This is when they get the. I think this is when they cut off the pieces of Jon Stewart here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he attacks them. And Zeke and Maribeth were also there. Sorry. And while he's getting attacked, he stabs him with the pin that has the
drugs in it,
and it completely just like melts him away. Like there's
very, very great effects, man.
Yes, some great effects, and they completely melts all the flesh off of him, and he's dead. And you see that. I think you see a little bit of the alien. So they Zeke infects his helmet. In his eye. Zeke takes everyone to his house because he lives by himself. Basically, he doesn't know where his parents are, and he has his drug lab, which is very dangerous.
his little scientific drug lab.
Just this 18-year-old that has a drug lab in his and is running a pretty successful drug running business.
Jesse Pinkman, I see you.
Yeah, I see it, man. Making moves.
Making moves.
But yeah, they want to inspect the specimen. So they, of course, he has a microscope, and they look at it, and they discover that it needs water to survive, and it can be killed by his drug. His drug can completely kill it. And
that's why they said that it was shown that Robert Patrick, when he became possessed, he was constantly chugging water. And I think they also say the reason why the drug works is because it's a powder that will dry them out completely, will drain them completely of their water. So
we find out that it's raw powdered caffeine.
Yeah, so that would make a lot of sense because I don't know from experience, but I have known people that like when you are on certain drugs, you're constantly trying to get fluids back in your body because they can dry out your saliva and shit. So that actually makes logical sense that they have to live with water, but if you take that water away, they die.
Yeah, we do not condone using drugs. Don't use drugs.
No, we do not.
But if you, but stay hydrated.
So stay hydrated if you do.
Stay hydrated. Be safe. So yeah, they find out that it's that they're very, very prone, or they're very sensitive to dehydration. The dehydration completely takes them out, melts them completely. And in order, this is where you got the Thing reference. They have to test to see who is an alien.
Yeah. This is a great scene.
And so they all decide, like, we got to take this drug. Casey's the first one that takes it, and obviously they don't want to take it because I'm kind of.
I wouldn't.
I'll be the one, like, I don't want to take that. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
So Casey takes it, and no problem, and he starts laughing. He starts being a little funny, a little silly.
Yeah, because he was like he's
never been high before.
No, so he just starts. He's the guy that gets high and starts giggling at everything.
Yeah,
I'm that person
uncontrollably. And then, and Stan starts waving the gun at Zeke because Zeke doesn't want to take it, and he's telling Stan to do it. And so he waves this gun. First he points it at Casey, which I'm like, why are we all okay with this guy just waving a gun around? Like, why are we just like cool with it? And then Zeke takes the drug, no problem, and he obviously has a higher tolerance, so it didn't really affect him in that moment. And then he takes the gun from Stan and he pulls it to him, and Stan takes it too. Stan's good too, so he stops pointing the gun at Stan. And then they're like they go to Stokely. Stokely's next, and Stokely takes the drug, no problem. She didn't want to. She was one that was kind of hard to convince too. But they're like, hey, like, it's either this or we let the world get taken over. Like, yeah, like either way. And so she takes the drug, and then it goes to Mary Beth and Delilah. Delilah, they go to Delilah first, and she's like, no, I'm not taking it. Like make her do it. And then so they come up with the thing to go ahead and do it at the same time. Mary Beth takes it. It's good. And Delilah immediately throws it away, and you see these like creepy. You see the
it's so good
thing moving, which I get the chills from it. But it's those chills where I'm like, I like watching it. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about the final confrontation, because there's a scene there where I'm like, I got the good chills. So then they attack. She attacks, and they're saying to kill her because Casey has the gun, and he's pointing at her, but he doesn't shoot because he thinks. I think they had talked earlier that the only way to get everybody, you can get everybody back still if they kill the queen, which it's still just a theory.
A film theory.
So because there was a little bit of a romance brewing between Casey and Delilah, he doesn't shoot her. She runs off, and so they're like, okay, we got to go to the school and we got to take out the queen. They go to the school to try and take out the queen. And they're able to get into the school, but they know that they have to try and they have to find the queen. I think they find Principal Drake first. And they're able to kill Principal Drake. So they want to see. They don't know if it worked, if it freed everybody. So they go. Stan decides to go out and see if he can find.
This was kind of a dumb move, though.
The dumbest thing ever. So dumb. And I think with each time they separated, I was like, this is dumb. They're making the same mistake over and over again, and it keeps backfiring. These kids, I understand they're kids, but these are dumb horror decisions.
Yeah, they're horror tropes.
Yes, and so Stan comes back and he's like, "Come on, get out, let me in." Oh, and this is where you get the scene where R. Patrick is standing
in the rain. It's so good
with his army of football players, and you see every time the lightning flashes, you see like the monster.
Such a great use of like the lightning shots.
Yeah,
because it shows it but it scares you because you don't get to see all of it until the final moment. And it's just like these tentacles are coming out. He's got like the long teeth, like a bug almost. It's really fucking gnarly.
It's crazy. And so he takes off running, and then the next thing we see him is he's running up to the principal, to the school, trying to be let in. And Stokely is not going to open it because Zeke is like, no, we can't. Like, we don't know if it's you.
We don't know what happened to him.
Take the drug. And so he throws this drug underneath, and he
pours it all out.
And so Stan is obviously an alien now. Stokely is heartbroken, obviously. They get her away. They run away. They're trying to find some. They got to find some way out of here because they have to find this queen. So then Zeke and Casey decide to go out and see if they can find some. Oh, they got to go and find. They got to go to Zeke's car because he has more drugs.
Drugs in there. Yep.
Stan poured out the last of the drugs.
Which this is a good way to get them outside because you've established that this is the only thing that can stop this.
Yeah.
Stop the aliens.
So, Mary Beth used too much. She used a lot of the drugs, and Zeke was even mad about it. And we're gonna see why.
She did it. Yeah.
And so they're running, or they're going to the outside, which is like, again, it's like every time these guys separate, it doesn't go well.
Yeah, don't separate, but have them all go outside to the car.
Like, exactly. You got to go there anyway. You all should stick together and just go make that trip together. But again, we digress. We will try and stop mentioning the very bad decision of. But they go to get. They realize that the only way to be able to get it is someone's gonna have to be a decoy and get everyone away while he's able to get to the truck. Casey decides to be the sacrificial lamb. He goes and hides in a bus, and it looks like he escapes for a little bit, but then Delilah turns out to be inside the bus, and then the bus is slowly getting separated while Delilah is trying to seduce young Casey, and just in time, he breaks out of the top, and with a badass escape, is able to just climb out of the bus and runs and is able to get away.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Zeke gets to his car, but Famke Janssen appears and
tries to seduce Zeke.
Rams her head into the window.
Yeah,
I like how she just kind of used her body as a weapon because she's an alien. Why wouldn't she?
Yeah, she doesn't care. And
Josh Hartnett's able to get away, is able to get her off and out of the car by crashing into this bus, which his car had this. This is the most giant explosion for just a second. I know he wasn't driving that fast.
Yeah, it was.
But he crashes into the bus, it explodes. Again, weird.
Don't question it.
Flies out of this. This scene is gnarly too.
It's such a good. This end sequence is so good because it progresses. It starts off really scary with who's the alien, then it goes straight into the Robert Rodriguez horror and action that he does really well, especially in something like From Dusk Till Dawn. So he has kind of these creature effects with this action sequence with these explosions. It's a really great third act.
Mixed with the CGI because there's a little bit of CGI in From Dusk Till Dawn, but with a lot of practical effects. And I think that's what helped this too. There's a little bit more CGI, obviously, because it was 2 years out. The technology by then had advanced a little bit more, but he's able to use a little bit more. But it's backed up by the great practical effects that we see, and it's leading up to this giant to the ending that has the giant practical effect monster that helps that makes the to me it makes the movie because you got to have that. It's so much easier, and you can tell that the actors have something to play off of. Because I know we all hate watching people interact with a tennis ball.
When CGI is done well, I don't mind it. When it's done brilliantly badly, then you can clearly see it.
That's why you got to have the mix of the practical.
The practical and CGI. Yep. Which is what they're doing with Alien Romulus coming out.
Yeah,
using practical aliens with CGI to enhance them.
Yeah, that
Fede Alvarez.
Freaking, what's it called? The face hugger crawling around.
Yeah, crawling around on the floor. So
yeah,
cool.
I was like, I was already gonna watch it, but now I'm even more excited. And I love Fede Alvarez. Fede Alvarez is great.
Oh, I do too.
And so yeah, we'll go ahead and move on. This is when Marybeth and Stokely. I keep forgetting so many names.
Casey and Stokely are there.
This is when Casey and Stokely?
Because they're in the gym, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
so
before Casey comes back, Stokely is sitting there with Marybeth, and Marybeth is asking like questions, and then like they seem like normal questions, and then she kind of like starts making her way, and you're like realizing like, oh, I think she says like, you're not what you appear to be. Like I'm not what I appear to be. And then Stokely turns around and she just gets cold cocked. Like it just gets punched.
Dude, she just gets punched right in the face.
And starts chasing after her. And Casey runs in there. They're running away for there's this chase. They're trying to get away. And Marybeth jumps in the water, right? And they're running at the side of the pool. Marybeth jumps in the water, and that's when you start seeing like the size of this alien, and you're like, okay, there's the queen, and this thing is gnarly. This thing is huge. It's got tentacles everywhere. It seems like it can control how big it gets and how like when it can grow, when it can get small.
I know some people did not like this ending because they said it looked too fake. There are moments, but the fact that they actually used part CG and part practical, the CGI wasn't the best in this scene, but you can clearly see that there's at least something there.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of hiding like hiding the parts that they couldn't get right with the CGI, like hiding it with the water shots. You know, like it being in the water and like it kind of just being like a silhouette. I think that helped. It didn't take me out of the movie at all. Like
me neither.
When I'm watching it, I'm not like expecting to see these like crazy, CGI, the crazy CGI, because it's 90s, man. Like you gotta kind of temper your expectations of how the
plus the budget on this film was $15 million, so it wasn't a big budget either.
Yeah, that's nothing like that. That was not the height of Robert Rodriguez's that's not the height of Robert Rodriguez's career. Same with Williamson. So like Williamson is coming fresh off of Scream and then The Faculty and well, I guess Faculty and Urban Legend kind of came out around the same time, correct?
Yep.
Like they both came out. So
Faculty and what? I'm sorry.
Urban Legend.
Yeah, they both came out in 1998.
Yeah, so, it's a smaller budget, smaller film. Can't really expect I wasn't coming in here to see the cool, like the crazy CGI. Like it's fine for what it is, but it doesn't take me out of the movie. It's not something that I'm not gonna dislike the movie. It didn't bring down my enjoyment of the film at all.
No, actually, looking back at the creature effects, it looks almost like a creature effect that you would see in like Men in Black, like the original Men in Black movie.
Yeah.
When Edgar gets turned into that big bug, that's kind of like what it looks like. Yeah,
like it's not as bad as I think people make it out to be.
No.
Just unfairly judging it. But yeah, man. So we go. This is when Zeke comes in and where they're able to help. He's trying to help them, and then he gets attacked by Stokely. Stokely turns out to be because I forgot to mention Marybeth dragged her into the water, but she escapes supposedly, and she's now an alien too. So they're running away from her. They're running away from Stokely. But they lock her up into this like cage where I think like the football equipment and stuff is in. They lock her in that cage, but they're both getting attacked by Mary Beth, who is this giant monster now at this point. It's first she appears naked, so you get your TNA in this movie.
Yeah.
But then she immediately turns back into the giant monster, takes them out, and starts going after. She takes out Zeke. And incapacitates him.
Yeah, I love the fact that when she does show up naked, you can clearly see that something's off. Like, it's not just used to have like a TNA shot, but it's actually used to be like, well, this is a girl who, when we first saw her, was this kind of shy and innocent and didn't seem like a girl who would do that type of stuff. But then the moment she turns into an alien, she tries to seduce people so that she can feed off of them. So of course she would use the body that she is in to kind of attract a teen male.
Yeah, and also I think because it's in the shadows and so like things aren't like completely lit well, it is a little off-putting. It's not even like a TNA shot for like the look of a TNA shot. It's made to make you feel off, and even Zeke feels off. He feels like he's not like, oh yeah, he's like a typical boy would have probably been like, oh wait, like what's that? It's off-putting to him where he's like you're something's
this
up.
Is weird.
Yeah,
what's up with you?
She attacks and incapacitates Zeke. So now it's Casey all by himself, but he's got the drugs. He was able to get the drugs while she was attacking Zeke. He grabs the drugs that he needs, and I think this is the scene that I like a lot because it is there is that practical effect of and the scene that gets me. Oh, we're gonna get there, but he hits the thing for the bleachers, and so it's closing really fast. She's in there too, though. She's going, and he's running as fast as he can, and he gets out just in time. Is able to jump out. It crushes the queen, and this is all practical. It crushes the queen, and she's there, and she shoots out these things that like go into his face. And this scene is where like I got the chills just thinking about it. She shoots him out, and they go into his face, and you can see them burrowing. Like that's when like the CG is not that bad because that is a
scene. Not at all.
That is an almost completely CG scene, and it completely works for me. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like I was because I have that trypophobia. I have that fear of like things going in your skin, and so that freaked me out. But he's able to stab her with the drug. She starts throwing up and is like going all gross and stuff.
The cool part about this is that they showed throughout the movie how the bleachers work because they fold inwards. Mm-hmm. So they used that to their advantage. They pinned her up against the bleacher and then stabbed her with the drugs. So like again, setting up something in the movie to be a payoff at the end of the movie.
Yep. And so Mary Beth was the alien queen, but she's been taken out by Casey. And then we cut to the next day.
Right through the eye, bro.
Yeah, we cut to the next day, and you get the news report that there were a bunch of disappearances. A bunch of people in the faculty disappeared. Not really sure what happened. It seems like there might have been foul play, but they're not sure. Mm-hmm. And then Casey is talking to Delilah, and she's dropping these magazines on. Like, dude, they made a bunch of magazines about him, but they're like in the thing. It sounded like they had no idea what happened. So what is it? He's either on time, but they're saying it's probably a hoax. And so everyone has their happy ending. Zeke is playing football while smoking a cigarette and clearly banging his teacher.
Yeah. Stan and Stokely are together.
Yeah, Stan and Stokely are standing outside the football field and doing their thing. And Casey and Delilah are together. So everyone got their happy ending. I don't know. Part of me was wondering, like, is there going to be a thing where, oh, maybe something survived, but there wasn't. So maybe this is just a one-off. But I was thinking there could be like a hint of something. So I was looking, but there was nothing.
Thank God that this was one of the rare '90s slashers that didn't get
no sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then, everything was getting made into a sequel. I just
being honest, this is one of the movies that you could probably remake today with updated special effects, and it would be fucking awesome.
Only thing I would ask is that the director wouldn't have to do a 50-50 of practical and CG.
Hell, bring back Robert Rodriguez to direct it.
Give him another, give him a bigger budget. Let's go.
The bigger budget. Get Radio Silence to write it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be fucking awesome. Because Radio Silence, like Chad and them, they have a really good way of writing character dialogue.
I like their dialogue.
This movie is heavy on like the teenage high school dialogue. So them working with Robert, I think would be fucking awesome.
I'd be down for it for sure. But yeah, man, that's the end of the movie. Everyone gets their happy ending. Let's go ahead and go and take a look at the. Do you want to give your final thoughts on the film, and then we'll look at the movie?
Yeah, I really love this movie. As I said, it's probably my number 3 behind Scream and Urban Legend. I know some people don't love Urban Legend. We talked about it last week, but I have a special place for that movie. But these kind of 90s kind of horror movies, I like that they're kind of different in some way. Like they don't feel similar. Like Urban Legend has kind of a Scream vibe, but it's very different from Scream. Mm-hmm. And then The Faculty is completely different from any of these type of both of those movies. So you get kind of a little bit of everything. Like you get like a teen drama with an alien invasion from Kevin Williamson, who wrote it. I think this movie is awesome. I think the CGI is kind of iffy, but that's just for the time. Mm-hmm. But also the cast, man. I always go back to the cast because Scream had an A-list cast of young talent and veterans. So does this one, because you have like Robert Patrick, Bebe Neuwirth, Jon Stewart, and Piper Laurie, who are the established names in horror and in action. And then you've got your Elijah Wood, your Jonah Brewsters, like your Josh Hartnett's, these really like up and coming, teen icons for the 90s. It's a really great, well-rounded cast. So I really love this movie.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I believe on Letterboxd I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Which is a passing grade. I enjoy the movie. I would actually probably go back and rewatch it. It's not. It's not amazing, but it's good. It's a lot of fun. A lot of 90s fun. Like it's nostalgic. It has that 90s feel that I enjoy. You know what it felt like? So I used to watch this. I used to watch this show on Discovery Kids called Strange Days at something high. I don't remember, but they would do it would have weird things. Sometimes it'd be like monsters, sometimes it'd be like ghosts, sometimes it'd be like an actual alien on the damn that they're dealing with. It was just one of those weird teen things, but the way that it looked and it just felt like that 90s 2000s feel. So it felt familiar. Yeah. That's why I liked it a lot.
All right, so let's pull up the Rotten Tomatoes rating for this film.
Yeah, so we have on the tomato meter, it is at 58%, and the audience pretty much agrees. It's at 57% for the audience.
Really?
Yeah. So it is not a passing grade. It is rotten. It is considered rotten. I would
agree with this.
I would disagree, but I'm probably at a 70. I enjoy it.
I'm about a 70 as well. Yeah.
It's passing, but it's not, it's not a B or an A. It's a solid.
Yeah, so this movie is also considered a cult classic because a lot of people from my era has come back and have watched it and just realized how much we really love this movie. So the fact that something can get. Can you see me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah. The fact that a movie could because it made $63.2 million on a $15 million budget. So that's That's a huge success.
It's a nice haul.
Yeah, it is. But the fact that like it made the money back, but audiences and critics didn't like it at the time. But now we're going back and rediscovering it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, if I would have seen this movie like back in like 2012, 2013, when I was getting very like into movies, but kind of being a douche about it, like I think I would have liked this movie. But having grown and like now, like when I watch a movie or when I go to a movie, if you're not, you either gotta make me feel something, you gotta blow me away with performance, or you got to performance, script, and all that good stuff, or let me have some fun. Like
entertain me.
Yeah, entertain me. Like I know what I'm going into when I watch certain movies. I sometimes I hate the way people. I hate the way film critique kind of like it takes every movie kind of the same amount of serious. Where I'm like, not every movie needs to be taken like seriously.
Yeah.
Like, when you go see, which I haven't even seen, but when you go see Killers of the Flower Moon versus like the Faculty, like you shouldn't rate those movies on the same scale. Like
Killers of the Flower Moon is actually really good. It's long as fuck, but it's so good.
Like that, like it's one that like I think people love, but you judge it for different reasons. Like you know what it is.
It's on a different scale.
Exactly, and this is one that I like a lot. I would actually go back and rewatch this. I would have fun with it.
I do every year.
I like the effects. I like the weird. I'm a big creature feature fan, like I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. I love creature features. I like seeing a monster at the end. I like a nice monster or creature battle at the end. Like those are always fun to me, even if they're bad.
Yep. All right. So with that, Alec, where can people find you? And let's close it out.
All right. Also, before we go, let's go ahead and drop what the next episode is going to be, which we're going to start our first of our 2024 series, where we're going to be kind of going over the films of 2024 and trying to stay as current as we can. So our first one of 2024 that we're going to do is Late Night with the Devil. David Dismalchin, which I'm a big fan of.
Me too.
So I cannot wait to go to for this episode. But until then, guys, make sure you can find me on Twitter at Alec Miller 0423. Letterboxd is something I don't know. I'm posting a lot on if I'm posting on like my movie stuff, it's going on Twitter. So you follow me on Twitter, you can find my Letterboxd. But yeah, man, where can they find you, bro?
All right here at Welcome to Prime Time. You can also check me out at the Nerd Entertainment Network, where I've been doing the Week of Wrestling podcast with myself and Ryan Payne, talking about AEW and WWE. The Welcome to Primetime podcast is coming back because my co-host Chad and Carrie were on vacation. So they're back, they're relaxed, and we're going to get back into the swing of things. We're also going to get back into the horror bracket series with our 80s Part 2 bracket. Because what we're doing is we're going through each decade of horror. We've done 2020s, 2010s, 2000s, 90s, and we did 80s Part 1. And we are trying to see what is the best horror movie of each decade. And then at the end, we're taking all of our winners and doing a final 64 bracket to determine what is the all-time best horror film.
Ooh, sounds like fun. All right, well, make sure you guys do that. And keep checking back for the next episode of Sinister's Horror Stash, where we pull out another film. So until then, guys, peace out and stay scared.